Nobody expects to fill it up. Call the order and do 7:05. Like to welcome you all up to the beautiful town of Clarenville, and thank you all for traveling. And for those of us joining on our new owl system, hopefully we'll have a glitch-free meeting. And see Councilor Bruce and Councilor Burton there, so it's good to see. I don't know if anybody else has joined in there. No, and I see Craig from our staff. So welcome virtually and welcome in person to the rest of you who travel out here. Appreciate you coming out. Hope to meet some of the service district, I think tomorrow is hopefully maybe. Let's see. And then if not, we will carry on back to the capital city, Mayor Brings Town. So I will officially call meeting number 101 for October 26, 2022 to order. And I would ask for the adoption of the agenda. So moved by Billy. Okay, I have that. Thank you very much. Review of the minutes from the September 28, 2022 meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? I'll give you a second minute. No errors or omissions? I ask if they be adopted. We're good to go there. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary carried. We're getting a little slow out of the gate when we get there. Committee reports. So the first committee report up is the Finance and Audit Committee. And the councillor, and that one is Councillor Hickman, is the committee chair, and you have the floor, Councillor Hickman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This meeting was held October 13th. First agenda item is 4A1 Board Expenditures Report, Check Register Payroll Summary. That's in your package. And that's for June and September. And these are tabled for review at our meeting. There was no issues or concerns noted. June's expenditure report had been inadvertently overlooked and not approved at the September meeting, so that's why we included it here. Any questions from staff? No, everything seems to be good. I will make the motion that we resolve the board adopt the expenditures for the months of June and September as stated. Further comments? You say all in favor, go on. All in favor, all in favor.
The chair.
Last time you did actually. All in favor? Aye. Contrary? It must be our first meeting. Agenda item 4A2, Incorporated Towns Payment Activity Report. That's there as well. You've seen that many times. Everything seems to be shape. And staff said they're pleased with the report. But are there any questions? Okay, on that. Oh, okay. No motion required. 4A3 is snow clearing tenders for waste recovery facilities. They're in your package as well. Tenders were issued for snow clearing ice control services at 6 of the 11 waste recovery facilities. And we were pleased with the results of 5 of the tenders. However, the package was harder than anticipated. Tender results include the meeting package. You can see there the chart. Staff are recommending that the board accept the lowest bid for 5 of the tenders. However, they are not accepting acceptance of the bid for tenders. So that is part of the motion. But sorry, it's the second motion. I'll make that motion. And this was due to the other cost. And so what this means basically will be available during the snow months. But users of this facility may access 2 other waste recovery facilities within the allowable catchment of 70 to 100 kilometers. And the Strategy and Policy Committee will speak to this in their report. So my first motion is that the board accept the lowest bid for the Babel, St. Joseph's, Kappa Hayden, Essentia and Harbor Race tenders related to the 2022-23 snow clearing and ice control services at these waste recovery facilities. So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments on this? Good news or good prices for us, so that's great. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried. Second motion is that be resolved the board decline the lowest bid for the cabin. I'm not sure if that's worded right, or the lowest bid. There was only one bid, wasn't it? Okay.
We can modify that.
Decline the bid for cabinet specific and related to the 2022-23 snow clearing and ice control services at its waste recovery facilities. So moved. Second or Jamie? Questions on this? We'll talk later about the next committee report on what happens as a result of this. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. 4A4 is the Whitburn Waste Recovery Facility Maintenance. A briefing note and photos are included in the meeting package for members to review. Staff feel that this maintenance is required due to the normal setting of the ground at the site following its construction several years ago. This facility is busy with the board's tractor trailers, heavy equipment, regular vehicles driving through regularly. And there's also, of course, a waste recovery facility located at the site as well. I wonder, would you want to make a comment, the state of the facility, Christie, or?
I'm sure. So the facility, as per the pictures, during heavy rainfall, accumulates. I would say about 60% of it is underwater, about a half foot deep. And it drains away fairly quickly, and it only happens during heavy rainfall. However, once that freezes this winter, it is going to be a safety hazard.
No question. Any questions, George? Okay. I'll make the motion. That the board award the contract for maintenance, including grading and installation of drainage method at the Whitburn Waste Recovery Facility to Edward Collins Contracted Limited, the amount of $7,475 HST approved. I'll make that motion. The seconder, Larry. Any further questions or comments or? Pretty clear? Work has to be done. All in favor? Aye. Contrary? Carried. Now, this is the staff favorite photocopier replacement. There's a briefing note there as well. And the main multifunction printer at the board's head office has reached the end of its useful life and is no longer efficient. The purchase lease for new copier meets the threshold for a limited call for bids based on the Public Procurement Act. Therefore, 3 quotes for replacement were obtained based on research and review of the specification required. Quotes were obtained from Pinnacle Outsourcing, Modern Business Equipment, and Staples. After reviewing the quotes to ensure the event specifications, staff obtained subsequent information on industry advancements that shifted the direction of the recommendation and materially changed the specification of the replacement photocopier. Vendors have been contacted to provide further quotations. Options will now be evaluated with substantial priority placed on environmentally friendly operational specifications, which is something we should always be thinking of in this organization. A lease is recommended for this transaction as opposed to purchase, as the lease service agreement would include all maintenance required and cover any removal disposal requirements at the end of the term. That's for information. Anything you want to add, Lynn?
No, we are, Craig, I should say, is currently waiting for the bids to come back at the environmental focus to ensure that the one that we presented, that there's nothing, I guess, better or more affordable in the market. So we're basically just ensuring that we're in line with the act.
So you come back next month for that, or?
Yes.
Or
We should have something for committees next month.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, any questions, comments on that? Sounds good. I know you'll be happy when that gets replaced.
Definitely.
And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilor Hickman. Lots of good work done by that committee. I appreciate you taking the chair of that one. And leading the path forward, getting all that good work done. I'm sure the staff will be happy when they get the new machine and cracking out is great because we don't have regular Trip rovers out at the facility. Or on the boat across the other side. Next committee report would be the strategy and policy committee, and the counselor for that is Councillor Tilly. And the committee chair from the beautiful town of Conception Bay South, Councillor Tilly. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Following our briefing notes and recommendations from our October 11, 2022 strategy and policy committee meeting, number 78. First agenda item is the 4B1 waste recovery facilities. Review of policy prohibiting access to double axle trailers. The board adopted the policy prohibiting double axle trailers access to waste recovery facilities in October of 2015. The policy was necessary to address frequent and ongoing operational issues at these sites caused by the use of double axle trailers. Because many of them chose to dump their waste in the traffic flow area rather than the assigned berm area, other customers could not access the site, which led to enormous complaints from the public. The board incurred significant costs to bring the backhoe and other equipment, along with an operator, to clean up this site. In addition to these operational issues, there were serious occupational health and safety issues for the site attendant as well as the public using the facility. Once the board adopted the policy to prohibit access to double axle trailers, the amount of commercial waste being disposed at these sites drops significantly. Therefore, the policy is working as intended. The board's certificate of approval to operate these facilities strictly prohibits access for commercial vehicles or acceptance of commercial waste. All staff recently met to discuss strategic planning policies, etc., and the operations staff were clear that they fully support this policy and are not in favor of changing. The policy is under review due to inquiries from towns, government, and users. Committee members discussed the possibility of using license plates to distinguish between commercial and residential users. As the province no longer issues license plates that denotes commercial users from residential, there is no way to identify vehicles unless they have signage on them. They've decided that the board seek a meeting with the Minister of Digital Government and Service to discuss how to identify commercial vehicles at these sites so that a resolution may be found. A meeting scheduled with Minister Studley and her staff on October 31st, and a report will be brought back to the board. Any questions on it?
Just wondering, do you know why Providence doesn't do commercial licenses anymore? Is there a good reason for it?
We're gonna meet with the minister on the 31st of October. And that's one of the questions out of this, is the why they stopped. I think it was just they stopped doing it. I don't think there was any rationale that we know.
Some CA or
Someone decided it was-
not really an expert in the field of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it would be much more simple if we did it all the same.
But sometimes they don't look at the other levers that can pull when they do stop.
Absolutely.
Hopefully,
That's great.
hopefully we get a good answer.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I should make one comment on that. Are you done? Please. Yep. Oh, yeah, no, we talked about this for probably a half hour at committee. So, it's unfortunate the actions of a few as a result of this policy having to go in. But, it's good to hear from staff on the ground that, this policy is working for them. So, interested to hear what the Minister of Digital Affairs and whatnot has to say about this, because it would be great if we could somehow have a policy where your regular Joe Blow has a double axle that could go in there. That's not commercial, but yeah, so look forward to hearing that meeting.
No, we're gonna work hard to find a solution somewhere along the way there. I think, between total ban and allowance of it, there's gotta be an answer.
All right, thanks, Councilor Court. Next agenda item is the 2023-2027 strategic plan development. Just an update. Our strategic plan development is ongoing. Board session as well as the staff session were highly successful with great suggestions and ideas being brought forward. The next step now is to reach out to the joint councils as well as community leaders for their input. The committee will continue to update on the progress of this plan on a regular basis. Any questions on that update there?
Yes, that question, that thought, the areas where there aren't joint councils, it might be a topic that would engender some interest in some of the areas.
We do intend to reach out, not just to the joint councils, but actually reach out to leaders of local service districts, because they're usually and not necessarily involved with joint councils. So that is, something that we will be doing.
Next item, item 4B3, product care recycling update. As members may recall, this item was discussed at the February committee meeting. and have determined that staff should meet with the product care to determine what will be required of the board if we agree to accept these materials. Product Care Recycling is an industry-led organization working to protect the environment by providing free recycling locations for customers and businesses to bring products like paint, household hazardous waste, lights, and alarms. CEO and Director of Operations recently met with Product Care, and it was noted that the infrastructure required to participate in the program will be provided by them if the board's waste recovery facility in Clarenville were to qualify for the program. Product Care suggested that they begin at the Clarenville facility as a pilot project, and if successful, the program could be extended to other waste recovery facilities. Staff will continue to investigate this request and bring further information back to the committee. Any questions?
I'll just add one thing. If you recall, last month you reported on the EPRA, and some of the issues we're having there is that they're offsetting some of those costs back to the board, or wanting us to take on the cost of buying our own pallets and packaging materials. So Christy and I guess, went to this meeting a little hesitant because we thought we would be a similar type of situation. But it was really great that they're going to put the infrastructure in place that will enable or facilitate us to accept that material. And it will be an additional cost for the board, but we'll certainly bring back all the detail when we have it.
Okay, thank you. And lastly is the long recommendation from our Strategy and Policy Committee regarding the Cabinet Waste Recovery Facility winter closure. Following the tender opening on October 7th for snow clearing and ice control services at the board's waste recovery facilities, it was decided to recommend closure of the Cabinet facility due to the high cost of snow clearing for this coming winter. From December 2021 through March of 2022, this facility saw on average 2 customers every hour. Cost per visit for this period, with most expenses and labor included, equates to $34.70. However, this increases to $72.84 per customer visit when snow clearing costs are included. This is an additional $38.14 per customer visit. These costs are not sustainable or fiscally responsible for the board. As the Cabinet Waste Recovery Facility is located 38 kilometers from the board's Whitburn facility and 63 kilometers from the Old Parliament facility, temporary winter closure will not result in the users traveling more than the prescribed 70 to 100 kilometers to visit one of these facilities. Therefore, it is recommended that the board close the Cabinet facility over the winter months, like we've done with Sunnyside and Bellona. The closure will be communicated by site signage, board website, and by advertising on Channel 6 ads. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, I'll call for a motion. Be it so resolved that the board close the Cabinet Waste Recovery Facility over the winter months from Tuesday, December 6th, 2022, and reopen on Saturday, April 1st, 2023. So moved. A seconder?
There you go.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? None. Motion carried. And that is it for strategy and policy, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilor Attorney. Appreciate the report and all the hard work you guys have been doing. And next up, we have our governance committee. This is the deputy mayor of the Long Harbor industrial area of the province. You're busy, be cheaper down there with all the stuff that's going on.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. It is really busy. It's gonna get busier.
Ed McDonald, take the floor.
The governance committee held 2 meetings, 79 and 80 this month. A special meeting was held on October 6th to address the deferred motions from the board meeting of September 28th. And the regular committee meeting was held on October 13th. Agenda item 4C1, deferred motions from the board meeting of September 28th, 2022. At the September 28th board meeting, it was decided to defer all motions pertaining to the format of future board and committee meetings, as members felt the hybrid meeting format should be offered for board members who may be unable to attend meetings in person. At the September board meeting, a discussion was held regarding recent technology that is available to facilitate hybrid meetings. Staff were asked to investigate this technology. At the committee meeting, we decided to recommend that the board purchase meeting owl camera systems, which we have here tonight. They look pretty good. So the hybrid meetings may be held and broadcast live online. Staff were asked to acquire this equipment in a timely manner so that tonight's meeting could be hybrid. As a board meeting is adopting a hybrid meeting format, motion number 2022 and 024 adopted in March must be rescinded, as the state will continue to hold its meetings virtually and broadcast on YouTube In addition, the motion states that the monthly committee meetings will remain virtual, except for one in-person meeting for each committee each quarter. So, motion is be resolved that the board within the motion, number 2022-024, adopted March 30th, 2022, motion number 2022-024 states it was moved and seconded by McDowell and Ms. Ravencroft. The board continued to hold its regular meetings virtually and broadcast on YouTube. Monthly standing meetings will remain virtual except for one in-person meeting for each committee each quarter. So I make the motion that the view sent. Any questions or concerns? Probably should ask that first. Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion moved. Next item, be it resolved that the board adopt a hybrid meeting format for its regular monthly public meetings effective immediately. Anyone? Okay. Bill? Seconder? West? All in favor?
I got a couple of comments on this.
Sure.
No surprise. I'm not a huge fan of hybrid model for the the 10 public meetings here we have. Committee meetings, you know, I have no problem with being virtual, given there's a lot of that of outside the city board members. So for convenience, and if we're all virtual, I find they run a bit better, but I just find online, it's hard to hear people. I'm interested, maybe these owls. I don't know what more than two owls are called. Is there a herd of owls or a flock, maybe a flock of owls, whatever. Maybe they'll change my mind because I'm curious, embrace the spreaders. But anyway, we digress. It's hard to hear people. It's hard for people online, I find, to know, you know, to hear them, to know when it's their turn to speak. You don't get to chatter. You know, we were just up there earlier chatting about things to do with the board. We'll chat after about board items. Not official decisions made, be clear, but just you get to network, you get to meet people. So I'm still a big believer in doing it in person for these meetings here. It's 10 a year, maybe even 9. So we usually have the summer off for various reasons. So I think that's the path we should be taking. You know, I just don't find the hybrid beneficial. We do it at the city, and I honestly can't stand when it's hybrid. So if we do decide to go this route, I think board members should make every possible attempt to get to a meeting. If Councilor Burton decides to come to a meeting at 2 months after having a baby, or decides to do, if we go with the owl, that's totally fine. But I think if we do, again, it should be every attempt made to get here, because I think the more people are on the table, the better discussion, the better decisions we're going to make. Because at the end of the day, we should be doing that and not just going virtual because it's convenient. Thank you.
That's a really good point. But look around, you know, we got a lot of people here attending tonight, which is great. So I think for the most part.
Councilor Bruce and Councilor Burton, I'll go Councilor Bruce first.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Very well.
I don't disagree that in-person meetings are maybe a little more beneficial, but just for example, tonight I had another board meeting from 5:30 to 7 that I would have had to miss because everybody else on the board could meet at that time, even though I was clear I couldn't. But because of this option, I was able to have that full meeting, jump onto this meeting and not have to miss this one. So I think, you know, I would normally be there in person. I don't think I've missed a meeting yet that we've had, but I think this option at this time, after what we've gone through the last couple of years, we're coming into flu season. I may be too sick to come into a meeting or anybody else, but may be able to virtually attend. So I think I don't disagree with Jamie. I think make every attempt we can to be there in person, but I do strongly believe that this is just an option that almost every other board I sit on has decided to keep this for now. So thanks. And this is working out really well, by the way. It's awesome. I can see everybody who speaks. I think the only issue might be if you're wearing a mask, it doesn't always follow you. I think it might follow your mouth. But other than that, it's ideal.
Councilor Burton.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity to join virtually and not miss out on what's going on. For various reasons, it can be hard to drive long distances for me right now. But I think it's great to have, like, during cold and flu season, it encourages people to participate without bringing germs in and all that other kind of stuff too. So, but I agree with Jamie that, in person should be the first, I guess, the first preference for everybody. And if you can't make it in person, then having the option is really important for increasing accessibility of meetings to people who have various needs. Anyway, I'm really glad to see the OWL is working out. I can see everybody. It's really great. Thank you.
Any other discussion? A really good discussion, so the motion was moved. The next item is be resolved that the board holds monthly standing committee meetings in person or virtually at the call of the chair effective at the meeting. I make the motion.
Second.
All in, any discussion? Let's say that first, you can always say it. All in favor?
I'm contrary. Contrary to.
Okay. Send it back.
Next item, be it resolved that the board holds monthly standing, or just that. Okay, be it resolved that the board purchased a meeting owl 3 tool and in addition microphone pods required to facilitate hybrid public board meetings.
Just did that.
I did that one.
Yeah, next
No.
one.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I think he skipped over.
Oh, so I skipped over the one before that?
You're good. You're good. You go.
Okay, so this is one before that. Be resolved that the board holds monthly standing committee meetings in person or virtually at the call of the chair effective immediately.
Good to go with that one.
And then another.
The purchase of the owl.
Okay, right, be it resolved that the board purchased a meeting owl 3 tool and additional microphone pod required to facilitate hybrid public board meetings. It's already happened.
Well, that's more of a ratification of the purchase, basically.
There you go. Yes. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Okay, next, the committee discussed the idea of moving several monthly public meetings to communities throughout the eastern region. Many members felt this was important to increase accessibility for the public who may want to attend, to provide local leaders with the opportunity to attend. It was agreed that the committee would recommend that 2 public meetings annually be held outside the metro area. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I just want to add into that one, Devin, that, I'm glad that we get to move around a bit, because I think it's important for the other parts of the region that we represent, but if there's a particular municipality who would like to invite us to their area, we'd certainly, obviously, be open to that, so if everyone wants to have us up for a cup of tea and a biscuit and a meeting, and have a look at that, or give it, or wherever it is, so, feel free to reach out to Lynn or myself, and we'll get a rotation going somewhere along the way that we can all, agree with.
Okay, thank you. And be it resolved that the board rotates your monthly public meetings.
Oh, hang on a second there, Kevin.
We voted on that.
No, Leslie,
Just a comment, I think, where it's not happened this way that we're talking about. I think it's going to need a little bit of promotion, and to get engagement of communities and areas, so I think that will show positive results in the future.
Yeah, I'll just add to that we did, before we came here, I think, probably about 2 weeks ago, we sent an invitation or notice to all the community leaders in this area and all the LSD chairs and councils that we would be holding this meeting there, and we welcome them to bring any comments to the board if they like. We did hear from the deputy mayor, George Cook Milton. However, he couldn't attend tonight due to COVID, but we will be getting back to him with his concerns. Yeah, so just to let you know that.
and was, we all represent different regions of the area, area of the regions, regions of the area. So feel free to reach out to the councils and your neighbors and say, hey, look, we're looking to meet up with some people and, joint councils or service district, or unincorporated, anybody who wants to have us there, we're.
Yeah, I had a meeting with 6 of them Sunday evening, and unfortunately, it cut them all in a time frame they couldn't come. And with LSDs, typically it's the chair that would come, as opposed to somebody else.
Christie just reminded me, we also put it on Twitter and it was up on our website as well. And we'll continue to do that. And I guess for leaders or councils in the region, this is, we used to do this many, many years ago. But we haven't done this in a long time to communities outside the city. So yeah, it might take some time for people to get familiar with the fact that we are moving meetings around.
Anyone else? Okay, be it resolved that the board rotates its regular monthly public meetings, the 2 meetings and communities through the Eastern region. I so move. Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda item 4C2, update and communication plan. A brief notice included in tonight's meeting package. In June, the board hired Mr. Will Hilliard as communications coordinator. Will has an extensive work history, including working as a journalist, desk editor, research reporter, and/or correspondent from the early 1990s to 2018 for the St. John's Telegram, Winnipeg Free Press, CBC TV, Here and Now, and Press, etc. He has experience in marketing communications coordinator with the Community Center Alliance, and he's worked as a public information officer with NL Housing Corporation. His achievements include the author of 2 books, Poor Souls, published in 2022, Sorry, published in 2020. He was a 2018 winner of the Fairborn Poetry Prize 2017, winner of the Gregory J. Howard Poetry Competition 2005, gold medal winner of the ACP Award for Feature and recipient of the NL Arts Council Literary Arts Grant, as well as the City of St. John's Literary Arts Grant. We're happy to have Will as part of the organization, and I'm pleased to have him here tonight this evening to provide an update to the board on the progress of the communications plan. Will?
Thank you. I can remember half that stuff. Thank you for having me here tonight. And thanks for the opportunity to join the team and to bring communications in-house and develop a communications plan. It's been something of an organic process in which all the work being done is part of the whole. The first draft will be presented to the board for review in November. In line with the strategic plan, the main objective is to promote the board as the provider for regional municipal services around Eastern Newfoundland and Labrador, and to promote regional cooperation in the best way to deliver modern and reliable municipal services. This requires a little footnote there that I'm very impressed that not too long ago there were no waste recovery facilities, no transfer station, and I'm very excited to be on board for the next 10 years because I think a lot of great work is going to happen. Communications is an integral part of that. The communication is going to require creative and consistent branding, public relations messaging, and ongoing community outreach that is clear, direct, appealing, and has value, and can grow our relationship, grow our audience and our relationship with municipal and industry stakeholders and customers and future customers. As part of corporate branding over the past few months and weeks, new main gate signs have been designed for the wharfs and Clarenville transfer station. And these will be in place before the new year. Roadside fingerboard signs have also been designed from scratch to direct users to the sites, along with at-a-glance guideline signage for the most efficient, safe use of the sites. In addition, prototypes for brochures, one-page handouts, roll-up banners, and merchandise have been developed or are in process of being developed in response to the immediate need. In terms of public education, in the coming weeks and months, we'll continue to focus public education online, namely Twitter and webpage at the moment, as well as traditional media. For example, applying action-oriented messaging and storytelling techniques, photos, short video clips, and audio often that will read the text to you to make what is being communicated interesting and memorable. This could include dialogue, waste management, recycling, fire and emergency services, and water and wastewater services. Speaking in terms of brand goals, strategy, value, and small to bigger picture issues and risks associated with all of these. In that everything we do is a part of a bigger global issue. So we picked a few tangible targets as we are doing and as was being done before I came on. And get to work at them. We continue to broaden the scope with each success. Each plan within the plans should set up specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based goals. For example, we set a plan to increase our Twitter audience over the course of 1 quarter. We invite community volunteers of varied age groups to be recycling heroes in a poster campaign. We set a goal to enhance our public image as a frontline practitioner of environmental stewardship and a green leader. Long-term goals are easier to name. It is a short-term goal that make the long-term goals possible that require more immediate results. As such, the plan will set out both short and long-term goals for the board's review. Goals that can be approached tactically and incrementally to targeted and steady on campaigns and community outreach, and their successes will be measured over time. The past 4 months, the learning curve has been steep, but also amazing, and being in good company of a good professional organization makes all the difference for my learning curve and what I can add to the organization. Again, we don't need to recreate wheels at work like the tried and true mail out calendars that we send out, and Christy and I were looking at and Lynn doing that again this year, and it's in the process with long magnets that you can stick it to your fridge. I'm sorry, again, it's all about building an audience and building relationships, and so hopefully every time I get a chance to update the board, new things will happen. And thanks. I will add that we are on Twitter, and it would be amazing if everyone follows on Twitter, retweeted us, and encourage people in the communities to do the same, because that's going to be a tool we're trying to develop along with the website as a go-to for information on collection, service, and information from recycling tips to information on all programs. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Any questions for Will?
No, just to say welcome aboard and look forward to working with you over the next couple of years, obviously. And raising the profile of the Regional Services Board and make us a much more friendlier and happy place for our employees.
Okay, thank you all. Looking forward to the update of your draft plans. Agenda item 4C3, update on campaign to raise recycling participation. A brief notice was included in tonight's meeting packet. Staff recently met with the CEO of the local manager for Both Recycling to discuss details of a thoughtful partnership. At the meeting, each organization outlined its objectives and short-term goals, and it quickly became apparent that Scotia is focused on raising participation and awareness of commercial cardboard, while the board is focused on raising participation rates for regular household curbside recycling. Therefore, it was decided each organization to proceed on its own campaign, but would be happy to assist others with any information or resources available. Currently, the board's communication coordinator is working on materials to raise recycling participation. Are there any questions or concerns? Okay, agenda item 4C4, sponsorship of 2022 municipality productive land and outdoor conference and trade show, November 2nd to the 5th in Gander. The board has been providing sponsorship for M&L for its annual municipal proposal held each spring, as well as a conference and trade show held each fall for the past several years. This includes the $5,000 annually. Prior to this, the board usually sponsors one event annually at either $1,000 or $2,500. As overall cost continues to increase for the board, the committee felt it is imperative to review the former practices, including sponsorship of the M&L events. It was noted the board has not seen any direct increase in requests for services for M&L membership following these events. The board is investigating professional development opportunities for its membership, as well as staff, and the money used to sponsor these events could be used to support those opportunities. The governance committee will continue to review each request for sponsorship individually, make recommendations to the board. So are there any questions or concerns about that? Okay, then be it resolved, the board's sponsored municipalities Newfoundland Labrador 2022 conference trade show taking place from the 2nd to the 5th, 2022 in Canada, in Mountain, $2,500. Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Agenda item 4C5, joint council's report. Again, a brief note is included in tonight's meeting package. The board's clerk and outreach coordinator continue to provide administrative support to the Southern Shore, Section Bay North, and Northeast Avalon Joint Council. Recently, the joint mayors of Trinity Bay River reconvened monthly meetings and their own chairs communicating with the board's clerk regarding providing support to them again. In the coming months, should be surveying the communities in the Smithtown area for interest in forming a joint council for those regions. In addition, there's been some interest in St. Mary's Bay and Southwest Avalon areas to reestablish a joint council there. Any questions or concerns? Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Appreciate your time on the file. Good work going on again. So, thank you. Next up is correspondence. We basically sent out a couple of letters since our last meeting. One to the Minister of Justice and Public Safety, requesting a meeting. We have yet to hear back from them. And a letter to the Minister of Digital Government and Service. We heard back from Minister Stubbs very quickly, and we're meeting on October 31st. We have a few agenda items that we discussed with them, and they actually reached out today for clarification on one of the items, which is great because they're engaged. So we look forward to meeting with Minister Stubbs and her staff, and hopefully get some resolution to some of the concerns that we've had around this table, and we can obviously make it smoother for our clients and customers and user groups. So, and when we hear back from the Minister of Justice, and we'll report that as well. Any new business?
Are you meeting at all with the municipal affairs minister or minister?
We're waiting on that one. We have reached out. I've spoken to her on several occasions, but they're in the process of making some, I guess, plans. And I guess once they have plans made, we'll hear back from them.
Yeah, just one thing, the recycling issue, is something that still is a big one, and they don't recycle some of these families.
Probably more Department of Environment, I think.
I don't know, I have no idea, probably.
I think that one Minister Davis.
Environment.
Yeah, so we can certainly reach out to Minister Davis and
We're not doing our job because they're not forcing the towns to do their job.
no, it's a great idea, and we can send them a letter and
Gotta keep it going. We've told them before, we've asked them before, it's gotta keep at it.
yeah, I think it's something that's one of the things you just gotta keep after on and eventually we'll catch. We can send a letter to share. A couple of meetings ago, I talked about a roundtable, sort of a quick chat from everybody, just to sort of report on what's going on inside of your own regions that you represent. So maybe we can take a minute or so each, just so you can update. If you don't have everything on the go, it's fine as well. So you can pass it on to the next person. Then maybe Jill, we can start with you. Do you want to talk something on your ward or your city or could be on the spot? You go first.
Yeah, no, I don't really have anything to add this evening. just got off a call with my Clean St. John's group, and you know, with regards to kind of the same, I guess, hand in hand, but they've got a lot of really good projects coming up that they're looking at doing. So I think, you know, we can come at this whole issue from a whole different lot of angles, but there's a lot of good work being done and a lot of good things in the hopper for sure. And thanks for the opportunity for this meeting this evening, because again, it went really well from my perspective.
Do you have like a best practices set up working with that group, or something you can share with all the other municipalities that we represent? There's some sort of like document that we could pass around to everybody, but how you operate.
I can certainly ask and see if that's available to pass along. Not a problem.
Well, Robin Bay is in her ward as well, so she'll answer all the questions on Robin Bay.
Yeah.
It's actually not in my ward, Councillor Hickman.
We moved it. We moved it too, just for.
Councillor Burton,
Nothing for me.
who's your guest you have in your lap with you?
Oh, on and off, that's Edith. It's her bedtime, so she's been coming for snuggles. Dad has a rehearsal.
Hello, Edith. Welcome to the meeting. Councillor Ridgely. Bill?
Just one thing for me, we just got over a strike in the city of Mount Vernon.
Oh, congratulations.
It was a rough strike, I must say, it was a rough strike. I wonder, we're after hearing from negotiators and others within that type of striking.
Yeah.
How that was. So we're putting a movement, we're doing a motion on the floor in MNL for the province to look at some kind of respectful guidelines for picketing. And we're after, MNL have accepted that. Well, you know, it's, 2022, we gotta have some kind of respectful lines on picket lines. It's terrible what happened to Mount Vernon. We can't have that happening again. It's, to go through what we went through is unbelievable. And so that's going to see that more on the floor and.
Look forward to hearing from you. Nathan Ryan, the beautiful municipality of Fairfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one thing to note on is that a lot of the communities in our area are experiencing a lot of garbage in the wooded areas, side roads and whatnot. So we as a council in Fairfield, we're looking at partnering with the school to see if there's any students looking to pick up some volunteer hours, to clean up some of the areas in the town of Fairfield itself. And we're going to see if any other communities are interested in something like that. So we're going to look at that going forward.
Awesome. I don't know if there's anything we can do to help there. Feel free to reach out.
I believe that the town of Fairfield hasn't participated in their annual cleanup that's offered to communities in the Eastern region. So if you wanted to reach out to me and go over those guidelines, I'm sure that we could.
Absolutely. We've done it in the past, so definitely we could do it again. Thank you.
Councillor Hickman.
I'm good, sir. I defer to my leader. Get me report.
It's not his leader.
Order. Christie, do you have anything to add from our staff?
No.
Thanks for the tour of the facility.
I
Colin, thank you as well.
Wonderful place.
definitely will. We're really proud of the facility. And I guess the only thing that I would say is to kind of reiterate some of the information that Will has provided, that any disruptions as we enter snow season, any disruptions will be on our website and on Twitter. And it's a really great way to find out if there's a disruption in your community.
Wesley.
Just a couple of things. One is that in this area, there are significant numbers of communities that are coming together to form municipalities. That I'm not sure what impact that would have on our services, but certainly it's Random Island, for example. I'm actually chair of a group of 14 communities coming together in this area, and all of this is with the support of government, obviously, in the minister. So that's just something on the horizon.
Well, I certainly would offer this, that if they're getting together like that and they want to talk to the student service board about the services that we can provide to them. We're more than happy, Lynn, I can absolutely come out and meet. Whatever we can, and help them.
Well, being chair, one of the largest of that group, of course, I've had that dialogue.
Yeah.
With that group. But the meeting I had Sunday night with 6 more, that was on the agenda.
Anytime, any place, those who. Will, you're ready to get your pieces on.
All good.
All right, good luck. The Mayor of the capital city of Newfoundland and Labrador, Mayor anybody.
Yeah, so one thing that might impact people is, we launched our new website, we're in the process of launching our new website today. And that means that anybody that does sign up for alerts from the city of St. John's will have to re-sign up. Because the new website, you have to re-register. You would have been notified of that as well. The location that you're notified now. But it's new revamped and we'll have more ease of access to information. So have a look at it and make sure that you sign up for for the notifications that you need.
Well, I'd ask me, we could, through Eastern Region Service Board, so tweet that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hashtag, use our own, and hopefully pick up some of their followers as well.
Yeah.
Holly.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Just a quick update that since the brief note was provided in the meeting package, the letter that went out to the LSDs, unincorporated areas and municipalities in this region. On that letter included not only the invite to this meeting, but also just a little note, I guess, that I will be inquiring about getting joint council back on and running again, as Leslie and I have discussed several times before. That was my third attempt to try to gain some interest specifically with that joint council, and I have not received any response from any town. So it is something, I know that was mentioned in the brief note, it is something that I will be talking to Wesley on again sometime soon. Maybe you as Wesley, as you know, a director in that region might be able to reach out individually from maybe hearing from you might be a little bit better than hearing from me. So we'll be working more closely on that in the coming weeks to try to get this region up and running again. That's really the only update that I have outside of what's in the package.
Yep, we'll keep after it. Eventually they're gonna see this.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, recently over the last several months, we had a number of concerns from our residents along Harbor saying that, you know, my garbage isn't getting picked up. And this bag left behind. I put 7 bags now and got 60 covered by. So we just reached out to the ERSB. They gave us a beautiful proposal that we sent to everybody's household. Figured out all the, you know, concerns people had. And it's just people are just getting, you know, bad on us, you know, we got to wait after that month, so we got to wait next month and just start adding more and more stuff like building materials and oversized bags. And we went and talked to the contractor. If you just cut the bags down, a lot better, we can still take them. But it was just a, you know, misunderstanding of what was required for the disposal every week. Next thing is, I'm really looking forward to the joint council meeting. We have a lot of small communities around our area that I think would really jump on board with that. And it'd really be a good, you know, publicity and let people are aware so that people know what the ERSB really does. It's a great work.
Yeah, any correspondence that we need to send up, you know, what was there to help, and then anybody, know if you need help with any of that stuff, feel free to reach out to them.
I think connecting with the board representatives from the area is a way to get people engaged.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lots happening in town areas.
I know.
Council has recently completed budget 2023 engagement with residents. Online survey, Twitter, town hall, 4 different pop-ups throughout the town. Certainly had lots of great discussion with residents on what they like to see in the budget. And of course, you know, we'll be planning on a special meeting to table that budget in late November. We have seen, Mr. Chair, we've seen significant increases in costs, you know, fuel, equipment, pre-tender estimates are all escalating. I'm sure we're all seeing that around the table. The town had a 4.23% increase in assessments and continues to see residential and commercial growth. The St. Thomas wastewater treatment plant and the lift station projects have recently been awarded. And this work equates to approximately $30 million. And we are expecting this to be certainly a multi-year project. And the town has recently issued an RFP for an update to our strategic plan. And obviously, we are hopeful for a competitive process on that. So lots happening. I'm sure it's lots happening in every other town as well.
I did read in the local paper that I think you had a $14,000 or $15,000 surcharge on the fuel bill for the soccer field. It was that, first time I've ever seen that, so it's a.
Yeah, it's
a big charge.
field. Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councilor Court.
Councilor Bruce and the mayor said everything else.
So there's nothing fresh at all.
Yeah, no.
Nothing, right? So not like you to be quiet. But anyway.
What do you want to know?
Oh, Rob Delaney.
Bit of a bittersweet report, I suppose. It's very encouraging to hear all the reports and the references about raising our profile, getting our good work out there, our name out there, et cetera, et cetera. So when you were talking about doing a roundtable going forward, I thought it was a great idea to engage communities within the region. I'm very happy to say that I was able to talk to my own council because I had them by ransom. They really don't know much about ERSB, and it seems to be a sentiment in our area at least that's very prominent. It's definitely a concern for me from my own perspective, in that for lack of a better term, I'm trying to sell a product that nobody knows anything about. What you were talking about earlier, like, can't wait to see that going forward and how we can raise our profile in that manner. On the other side, I reached out to another community or another couple of communities within my region. I can't even get them on the phone. Yeah. So, and I'll keep going, but the main gist, I suppose, of my report for roundtable is we really need to get our profile out there and do good work out there and what's going on. It seems we make one mistake, everybody's all over it. No problem getting that kind of press. But all the good work that we do, we're not talking about it enough, guys.
Well, you and I chatted earlier about the joint council Central Bay North, JCCBN, and I'd be more than happy to come out. I know you're gonna try and get a meeting together, and Holly and I'm more than happy, and Christine, Will, and Danny will all come out.
It's a great mention say here, right?
And Jamie, more than happy to come out and do a song and dance.
We'll take most of it.
Yeah. We'll bring enough for days. So
It's not in some of the communities back there, not all of them. So let me know where it is.
Well, you're from out that way, that's why I'm bringing you in. You're a bit of a celebrity out that way, I think, so, you know. Huge thing.
I was.
He's on the list.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Voting.
Absolutely. Jamie Colrad play.
It's more of an access.
James, right?
Pretty much.
Councilor Tilly, thanks for happening up in our own beautiful town.
Oh, there's lots of stuff happening up our way, as alluded to my counterpart there from Paradise. We are in our budget process now. Of course, we had a public session last Sunday at the Legion. And it's unfortunate that we get very, very low turnout at our public sessions. You know, we hear on social media that we're not being transparent enough and we're not being available to talk face to face, and lo and behold, we have said session and the council outranked the amount of people that actually walked through the doors. The 6 or 7 people that did show up, we certainly had a grand chat, and you know, they gave us some ideas that we'll certainly take back to our council table. On another note, from a recycling perspective, the town is very excited that C&D Recycling out of Halifax, they started construction on the new tire recycling facility in the industrial park, and lots of steel has been going up there the past couple of days, so we expect to have that up and running in, I believe, early 2023, and upwards to $500,000 a year. Looks like they're going to be recycling there, so a definite boom for the town CBS. We'll take whatever business we can get, provided it meets all the criteria of what falls within our regulations. But we're excited to have this company come into the industrial park, and only good things will happen from there. Thanks.
I look forward to setting up a tour.
Yeah, when it's all done, I'll get that all done.
I'll bring our tires in back there and bring them up. And they don't come up the swing.
Anything before the tire or the ATV tires.
You don't worry about it. Yeah, you don't take things out. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Lynn, the floor is yours.
Yeah, everything's going well over our way there, especially in the town, in the beautiful town of Victoria, where it's, you know, what, Portland represents the whole area. Right now, as Rob would know, Holly would know, our young council is operating without a chair. We lost our chair at the last meeting. There's some personal issues going on there, so, you know, we'll be addressing that shortly. And because I'm sure, you know, the joint mayor, or joint council, Secretary Main North is one of the more active ones in the province, and hopefully we can get back to that. But last week, as representative for the area, I met with the joint council of Trinity South. I have to say, probably for the first 5 minutes, I felt like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Yeah, but seriously, you know, we're not past that, and you know, but there are a lot of issues out in those small communities, which I don't know what the correct way to say this, but there are some issues concerned with the way the service board operates, and, you know, and how the facilities are managed in some cases and so on. But I will be putting together a brief report, you know, with respect to everybody, of course, and, you know, present it to yourself and the CAO. And then I guess we will go with further discussions and see where that goes. So.
Yeah, no, I wish I could have joined in, but I had just gotten back from 2 weeks, so I was, yeah. But if you want to set up a meeting with those mayors again, or like joint council again,
yeah,
we're happy to drive over.
Yeah, because I think, you know, that the concerns that we raised, you know, warrants a follow-up meeting.
Absolutely.
And like, for example, now all with their joint council, you know, they haven't been having Holly, you know, for a while and so on, so. I'm not going to comment on the joint members that were operating, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
But Holly, I did, you know, mention that they should get involved again, because you know, the board can be a great asset to joint council. They have been in the past, and I'm sure we will be again. I say that in personal experience.
Absolutely.
So that's all I'm going to say tonight, and thanks for the time.
Yeah, no, the last couple of years has been hard on all the joint councils and communication, so sometimes it requires a face-to-face meeting, sit down.
Yes.
Talk about what's going on and resolve most of it pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Mayor.
Marilyn.
Whitburn.
Well,
Sparkling too, or just Whitburn?
No, just with
You should take over, Matt. Delegation.
what did keep them?
Regional edition.
Annexation.
Annexation. We're doing good. We have approximately 80% of new water pipes in the ground, for pavement and sidewalk. We have a new project on the go to further improve our drinking water. We have an all new playground. We revived the Sir Robert Bond Park, approximately 50 very large trees put in this year, last year, landscaping, etc. It is a jewel in the center of our town. Lots of new housing, big housing in the Goose Pond area. We have a brand new development that has a lot of very large homes on the other side behind the railway station area. A great tax base. And so our town is thriving and continues to thrive.
You're thriving as I was.
Yep.
Last concern that base. PAO is wonderful operation.
I really don't have a lot, because of course our business is discussed at committee and board every month. But I will say that the chair, myself and the board clerk are going to the M&L conference next week, and while we're in the central region, I really hope that we're able to connect with the Central Regional Service Board. And better yet, I hope that we're able to go visit some of their facilities. And I think that will help us, I guess, understand or look at what we're doing, what they're doing, and I guess look at best practices across the two, and start working or building a relationship with the other boards. Since the pandemic, we have not met with the other boards prior to the pandemic. That was a regular thing. So it's something we hope to get back to.
Good stuff, you know, look forward to meeting with one another. We're trying to find a time and a place.
Yeah.
How many people are going up there this week? You want to-
Yeah, they do have a tour of the facility on Wednesday at 11 a.m. of the Gander Wellbless wastewater course. There's a few other ones there as well.
Anything else?
Here, I wonder if I could, you know, we all, you know, hear the talk and so on, and everything's been going on for 30 or 40 years, I guess, but regionalization, sharing of services, amalgamation, everything, you know, and you know, we've had some brief discussions on it before around this board here. You know, I think there's a role for this board to play in regionalization, and you know, I think we should start allowing some time at our meetings, maybe for brief discussions around it, or maybe discussion with the minister or something, because while, you know, government, you know, say that they're totally committed to regionalization, you know, I've searched, you know, the budget that came down in the spring, and I don't see 5 cents in it for regionalization, you know, so, you know, I think that the discussion needs to be had, and you know, we all have concerns, we all represent, you know, one town, or you know, or whatever, and represent a number of people, and it's going to affect the whole project, so, you know, I think we can be leaders in that discussion.
I agree 100%.
Just like to add to that, I find that particular topic to have so much validity in our area. We really need to come together locally, whether it be regionalization or some other means, but regionalization, as I understand, would be ideal. But we're the Eastern Region Service Board, and Glenn specifically used the word leaders, and I think we need to be the leaders on this. And I'd also like this board to consider going forward about a subcommittee on regionalization to try and move this forward in some capacity. And maybe we could bring that forward next month after everyone's had some time to consider it.
I think one of the sessions at MNL on Saturday or Sunday, I'm not really looking at the agenda, they was talking about the addition in the campus system. I'm all right saying that. We're trying to put the agenda there now, but I think there is a session at MNL, which I'm sure will be well attended.
Yeah, I think our MHA, Sherry Young Welsh, she went out and had some meetings with because I'm surrounded by local service districts. And she was telling me that she used our town, and they were saying, well, how come Whitburn got this, Whitburn got that, they got this, and she was trying to tell them because they. So some of the people, I think they want to incorporate, but they don't want to have it as a municipality where they're taxed, and they're trying to find a way to incorporate and access that operating funds without the tax system. So I would say there's some very interesting conversation going between them all.
I think there's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors up there, a lot of mud and water, so I think.
It's not-
we'll take it care of.
I think it will make a bigger difference to LSDs and unincorporated towns. Incorporated towns will, you know, still to take over what we've already got there. So,
You gotta remove the boogeyman on us.
yeah.
Did you find that on the agenda?
I didn't, but I do remember seeing something
That
about
was last day.
Yeah. Certainly different time.
Yeah, I think there's something there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There usually is something on the regionalization. But you know, you said Rosewood. Tom, I don't know, I should have action, right?
Regional Economic Development Task Force.
Yeah, so it is, yeah. No.
No, there's about where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
I think it's on Saturday around 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's her last day.
Yeah.
they've made some adjustments to the agenda, and it's
Oh,
they've reworded.
The future of municipal government,
Future municipal government.
Yeah, that could be it.
that's Craig Pollock, the actor.
Upcoming meetings, so it's November 30th. I may ask everybody if we can change that one to maybe the 29th or the next day. I'll let you know tomorrow, if everybody's okay with that. If there is something then on November 30th, and I think you are probably gonna want to go with it. Okay. Wait a minute. I may change, I may.
Wait, Tracy doesn't know that.
What?
Until we make sure you don't know that.
I'll come back.
Mr. Chair, that may impact my ability as of changing the budget.
Okay, yeah, okay, when is your vote tonight?
Consider the 29 to 30.
All right, why don't you, okay, well, why don't you, can you let me know that one, and then we'll work around it. I'm just saying, I might, I don't know yet.
When is the meeting?
This is 30th November. The 17th, 15th, and 22nd are all, I'm assuming okay. Yeah, it's only the 30th, I think, that we have to change, but I don't know, it might be okay or maybe. And with that, I guess we'll have a motion to adjourn. So moved. And thank you all for coming out. Appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Hey, Jill. Hey, Maggie, I got it.
Bye.
Yeah. Want to get there, Greg? Good job, Greg.